it's been a few weeks. I'm Rick as always. He's John. We're the Winning Edge podcast. We've been busy. We have been busy living our high performance lives, haven't we, mate? That's what we've been doing.
Let's call it that.
Exactly that. We've been living our high performance lives, but we've been busy. We're both in the old Specky Brigade as well here today. Am I allowed to say that or not? But we're both in the
here, I can't fucking see without these things half the time. I can do the podcast without, but everything's a fucking blur.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Headaches afterwards and all that kind of jazz. But sorry, we're talking over each other out of practice and everything. But
not getting any better.
Yeah, how's life over in the States, mate? You've just had what's it called, like American Independence Day or whatever?
Yesterday. Yeah, I mean it's a big holiday over here. It makes me laugh. Like everyone kind of forgets. I think I've been here a while now, and you would think my accent, says it all, but you still get everyone like, what are you doing? You're celebrating, July the 4th, American Independence Day. I'm like, that I'm English, right? Why would I be celebrating that? Like, what July the 4th means. So look, obviously as a business, I get to live in the US. I fucking love it here. So I acknowledge it, and it's just a holiday. It's like in most of the holidays, around the world, most people just see it as a weekend away, piss up, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how much people really, still acknowledge what that day really, really meant or is. But it's just a holiday. But it's chaos. Freeways are quiet, so that's a bonus. I got 8 minutes this morning, which is unusual. So I don't mind that.
How long have you been in America for again now, mate?
I think 5, coming up to 5 years. Nearly 6 if you include a year or so of like traveling back and forth between here and Hong Kong when we was kind of getting things off the ground a little bit, but nearly 5.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, fucking long enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. And we've just had the general. I've got to get it out of the way. We've just had the general election. I
was keeping up with it last night just to see. I mean, I heard what was going to happen, but it's about fucking time, to be honest. But
a massive change of government over here now, and a massive sort of victory for the sort of the red side, the Labour side, and I mean the UK is a fucking mess. It's a disgrace what's gone on over here over the last few years. These just in terms of infrastructure and all that kind of stuff, it's a mess, and people pay high taxation in the US, in the UK, similar to parts of the US, and there's not a huge quality of life for many people. It's not. I mean, listen, there's not famine here, and there's not. Although there is a lot of people who are struggling to pay their bills and buy food and eating out of food banks, and so I mean, no disrespect there, because people have struggled to put their gas and electric and heating on and everything, and so it's not been cool. There's worse places, is what I suppose I'm saying.
I mean, always. The US is kind of like, the UK's got it a bit shit, but the US is almost like with the government and politics over here is like, hold my beer. It's like more chaotic here at the moment. But Labour's not been in power in the UK for 14 years.
14 years, yeah. But I'm not hopeful. I don't particularly like either of them, if I'm honest with you.
I think that's the problem, right? Most of us I guess, I mean, I don't know what are we classed as? Like, are we classed as like middle class? I mean, we're not lower class anymore. I think I was brought up lower class, certainly not fucking upper class. And I think that's where I've always found the whole politics thing fucking difficult, because I'm like, doesn't really matter who's in half the time. It's just same old shit, just different fucking day with whoever's in power. And it's, what you may get as a benefit from one side is taken away from the other, and vice versa. So I've never really felt any better off under any one fucking government or the other. Like,
yeah, absolutely that. And I believe, that I don't know about in the States, but there's quite a bit of sort of unrest over here, or people talking particularly about immigration, and there's the I think divide is growing. I think that's fair to say. Not in everybody, of course,
I
but
think that's a media thing. Do you think that's
yeah,
not as much
absolutely.
media? I think government is doing that because it's trying to separate. Each side's trying to
Well,
separate.
and that was the
Media jump all over that.
mate.
Because
That
that's
was
what it's
the
like here.
yeah. That was the point I was going to make. It's I believe that it's actually to hide what the real issue is, and the real issue is that there's a class issue, and you're right in terms of historically we've been sort of working our way into a position of sort of middle class, having a little bit of wealth, having some some spare cash and all that kind of stuff. Nice life, nice home, blah 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 blah. And actually, what I genuinely believe, is that what they want is the elite classes, the super rich, and the rest to just be fucking poor and just shut the fuck up and work and get on with it. And the easiest way of controlling people is to get them to control themselves. Sound like I'm going down a conspiracy rabbit hole here.
No, I think you hear a lot of that over here. Same thing, Democrat, Republican. It's the same fucking dynamics between Labour and Conservative, right? When you listen to a lot of it, like I said, here I remember like in the UK as a kid, I never used to you'd watch the news on BBC, you'd watch the news on ITV, and it was kind of similar. This divide wasn't obvious that I think you get here. If you came to the US and you watched the news, you'd be amazed that you can literally be watching CNN one moment, which is fully Democrat. You can watch Fox News the next moment, which is fully Republican, and you may as well be watching two completely different blocks of news. Like you would struggle to be like, okay, this side is saying the exact opposite of this side, and that's the news. And even as a kid, looking at the newspapers, I know there was always newspapers that were a bit more left than right, but the headlines, if you ever went, used to deliver newspapers, right? As a kid, the headlines were all the same. Pretty much every newspaper had the same fucking headline on it. Might have told the story a little different, but by and large, I think the media was what it was supposed to be. It was down the middle. It just told the fucking story. For me now, the media, like the big thing over here at the moment, and I don't know why we've started on fucking politics other than, the UK's just had a change of government. But, the big thing at the moment here is that the media literally hiding the state of fucking Joe Biden for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucked, isn't he?
But the US is fucked. Like, in what other fucking field or job would a 77-year-old and an 81-year-old be competing for a job?
Absolutely that. Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't get hired. Fuck. I wouldn't get hired in most jobs nowadays at my age.
Yeah.
And yet these guys are 30 years older than me, competing for the so-called fucking biggest job on earth. Right?
Yeah.
The leader of the fucking free world.
I mean, they should be retired at that age, shouldn't they? And living their best life,
We looked at the last. I didn't even know why we looked at this, but it was kind of like taking a look at the last few presidents, and most of them became president mid to late 40s. And now all of a sudden we've got these two old fucking fossils competing that were like, really? This is what the fucking, world come to, what the US has come to. This is the best you have to offer, is these guys that should be fucking retired.
They make us look young, mate, don't they? You know what I mean?
It's crazy. When you get immune to it here, but when you're watching it on TV and you're listening and you're like, again, particularly the Biden thing, and it's a shame. Like he's mentally, he's fucking going. And
it's not nice to see, is it?
You shouldn't be all over the TV. If that was your fucking granddad, because that's what it reminds you of. You're like, okay, so I mean, I don't remember my granddad that well, but I couldn't imagine him being the fucking prime minister.
Yeah.
Because that's what's fucking happening.
Yeah.
So I just think it's all a bit fucking insane. But I hope that there's this, semi-revolution of like, the UK, US, Oz usually tend to go in line with each other. That if the UK have now gone for a change and they're going to move back to more Labour, hopefully the US goes that same route. I don't think Trump's the right guy, but without getting too political, I think their fucking policies are better. From a business owner's point of view, more so California, I find difficult, but I don't think either are fucking great. I'm not a big fan of either, but I hope the country goes a bit, the world goes a bit back the other way for a little while.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It'd be nice to remember that we're putting all that to one side, that we've all only got one life, and like you say, looking at these old guys reminds us that actually they are old, and not everyone even gets to that age, and we have only got one life, and for me, life's become quite not necessarily from a business front, by the way, but in other areas of life, politics, news, society, this and other, it all seems to be very serious and very, people are sort of angry and at something and kicking off at something, and it'd be really nice if life could just be a bit fucking, happier. And I don't mean my life. My life, touch wood, is pretty good. I mean, that there was, less war and less people fighting and all that kind of stuff. That'd be cool. That if all we were arguing about was the fucking sport and stuff like that, you know what I mean, then I think I'd take that.
I think just getting things back to being a bit more fucking human again, right? There was a thing on the news yesterday or the day before saying that they did this fucking poll thing of like Chat GPT coming out with funnier jokes than human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you what? I'm like, first of all, like, the type of people that are behind Chat GPT. So I don't see how that's actually true. And also, I guarantee any slightly, what would the term be? I guess old school type joke would be out on ChatGPT. You're not having any jokes or any woke type jokes on there. It won't have it. So you're like, how can it be funnier than fucking human beings? Like human beings that can actually sit back and have a laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
No matter what your race, fucking color, sexual orientation, all this stuff. We should be able to have a little bit of a laugh at that, right? It shouldn't be all so fucking serious that, oh yeah, we can't talk about that. That's not funny. Like the best and funniest comedians of all time have targeted whatever, right? And
Richard Pryor springs to mind in the 70s when he sort of did those groundbreaking stand-ups, didn't he? And he was sort of mimicking sort of what his perception of sort of white guys in America were like and all that. And it was hilarious, it was funny as anything. And I agree, mate. It's all a bit fucking serious, isn't it, now, and who knows where it's all going.
I don't care anymore.
Me neither.
I don't give a shit. I've come to a conclusion that I'm almost at that age where I'm now never going to change. So I'm almost set in, okay, some of these are my ways. And you know what? I don't want to spend whatever bit of time I've got left on this fucking earth trying to change and conform to a way that is whatever. I am what I am. And that's...
Well, with that in mind, and we're starting to sound like our parents now, but maybe that was inevitable. But it's probably a good time to... Am I allowed to bring up the big birthday then? Because it's
well, we're not. I don't know. I know I'll be here next week. You might not be. Yes, we'll get maybe one more podcast in before my birthday. Yeah. So, well, I've been fucking building up to this for the last few years, I think. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Got no idea how to feel about it. I'll be honest.
Big 50, yeah.
Yeah, 50. I don't know how the fuck it happened. That's been my... When I've tried to stop and think about it for a minute, that's the sentence that keeps going around in my head. Like, how the fuck did we get here? Like, there's numbers that when you're a kid, you don't really see in the future. You don't even think about it. But even at 40, my brain didn't really think about 50. And now at 50, I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did we get to 50? What is that supposed to even look like?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't even know how. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't fucking like it. I don't like... I'm not aging very gracefully. I don't like being older. I certainly don't like having to tell people I'm fucking 50. It's a weird age. I don't know what to compare it to. I know when I turned 40, I made a lot of big life changes, which has basically accumulated the last 10 years of my life and got me to here. And I think because I made such a lot of big life changes at sort of 39, 40, my 40s, whilst a lot of people stress about being 40, I blitzed through that because I was a little, I guess, in some ways, like behind in my own head of where I should be for a 40-year-old from like a financial career or that point of view. I spent most of my life just, enjoying what I do. Money was never a big thing until I turned 40 and went, oh shit, this is supposed to be middle age. And I'm, living month to month, week to week, even fucking day to day sometimes with like, how much money did someone pay me and go Sainsbury's on the way home for some fucking food? I'm like 40 years old. I shouldn't be living like that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean to say I'm fucking, ready to retire at 50. I fucking wish my energy levels are ready to retire, which makes me laugh because I fucking, again, going back to the whole thing about the fucking president in the US and in being 80 and doing this fucking job. Whilst it's not a good excuse, he was coming out and sort of saying, he needs a nap and he doesn't want to do stuff after 8 o'clock. And I'm like, well, fuck me. Like, I'm turning 50 and that's me.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair excuse because you're 80.
Yeah.
But it's also the reason why you shouldn't be doing that fucking job.
Right?
I was looking at him like, fucking hell, mate, you this 80-year-old man fucking describing my energy levels. So, I mean, like I said, I don't, going into 50, I'm in a bit of I normally have goals and ambitions and things I want to kind of achieve. And I've looked at each decade from, being like, I guess, don't get me wrong, I don't have any fucking ambitions at 10 years old, but 10 to 20 is all about school. And for me, then leaving school, getting my first job and all that sort of stuff. My 20s, you kind of start in 20s was fucking working hard, training. I was competing in sport. I was boxing a lot, but I was also partying a lot. Like, my 20s was a fucking blur, if I'm honest, of many different things. First real long-term relationship, a lot of partying, a lot of mistakes. I really fucking, went through a lot of things in my 20s. 30 was a bit more where I thought I'd got my shit together. Thought I knew it all by my 30s. 30, 35. It's funny. I listen to a lot of people I know very well and their podcasts, and they're in their 30s and they do talk like they've got it all nailed.
Yeah.
Early 30s, like the 20s was the fuck up years, and now they've got their businesses sorted. They've got, and maybe they have, and maybe they're all, they've all got life kind of figured out. But I thought I had, and then I realized I fucking haven't.
Things
around the corner. Other things can change. And you go, you know what? Got into my 40s, was very, very driven throughout my 40s, and as I've got older, I think I've come to this conclusion that the more I think I know, the less I fucking know. And it's like, you can go on all day long thinking you've got shit figured out, and there'll always be something potentially around the corner that reminds you don't have it figured out. Nothing can prepare you. And again, it goes back to listening to some of these guys in their 30s that are like, peak energy, peak physical, whatever. Because obviously, there's a lot of people in the fitness industry, right? And I'm like, that was me.
Yep.
And now I'm kind of like, everything fucking hurts. I've got a million fucking injuries. My workouts are whatever my body feels like doing that day, and nothing's quite as sure. It's frustrating. There's a level of frustration that I didn't think I was going to have. There's a level of, frustration with me, my body, physically, my energy. I get annoyed at myself. And again, not to harp on about like, grandparents and shit at that age. I'm not that old yet. But I remember that a little bit as a kid. I remember snippets of like, granddad getting fucking frustrated at shit. And I can kind of see it now. I'm like, no, it wasn't frustrated at everybody else. It might have come out at other people, but really a lot of it was frustration with yourself.
And you're in good shape. You're jacked and you're in good shape. Not just for your age, you're in good shape. You know, so imagine what it's like for other 50-year-olds who haven't looked after themselves.
No, and look, I certainly don't want to, like I said, I've probably gone down the doom and gloom fucking path of explaining my thoughts on turning 50 first. But look, the flip side is I've got a lot to be grateful for. You know, I'm turning 50. I live in Los Angeles. I have my own business, my own gym, which I never thought I'd ever have. It's comes with a ton of stresses and things. But if you know, from the outset, you know, I've got a lot of the things I ever really wanted, you know.
Sounds like you got broken floor now by the sounds of it.
Honestly, it's like, yeah, people pay no fucking attention to anything here. So they just drop things and then wonder why I walk around whinging like fuck about holes in stuff that I've now got to pay to fix. It's like you're six inches from the fucking floor as well. That's what pisses me off. It's like,
so if you were on this podcast, you'd be straight out there now, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah. So no, there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of good stuff. It's the first time in my life that I feel I'm turning an age where I'm kind of in the middle of things. I know some things need to change. I just don't know what they are anymore. I don't know what. I've sat and tried to think about what I want my 50s to look like, and I don't fucking know. I genuinely don't know. I don't have a goal in mind. I don't have a clear focus. And whether that's because I'm super fucking busy, a little bit stressed out with the business is not quite where I need it to really live what I would like to live for the next sort of 10 years. So I've probably got a few more years of trying to get that there. And I don't want to be disappointed. So whilst I want to set goals, I want to set ideas and timelines and dates as to when I want to be doing whatever I want to be doing, I don't want to be on the never pushing those dates back, because that's fucking stressful as well. So until I can see a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel, I don't want to be like, right, by the time I'm 51, I want to be doing this. Or by the time I'm 55, like it gets fucking hard. But at the same time, I don't want to wake up at 60 going, the fuck did I do in my 50s? Because that 60s even fucking less fucking time left. And, you know, I'm even more broken, more fucking tired. Who knows where things will be? I mean, 10 years is a long time, but it feels very short when you get over.
Yeah.
And you're going into...
The clock goes faster, doesn't it?
Okay, well, I've said this, and I have a joke about this all the time. It's like when people talk about midlife, and midlife's not 50, there's no way I'm living to 100. And the bottom line is, even if I did, like, you know, you're not going into the better end of your fucking years. You can't compare being 60 years old to like 80 from being born to 20. And again, it depends what your upbringing was like. It depends what school was like and shit like that. But I'm pretty sure that on the whole, years 1 to 20 will have been a lot more fun and less stressful than maybe being 60 to 80, right? When you get older, other things start going wrong. Your fucking health, all sorts of fucking shit. It can become a problem, right? So all this waiting to save money and retirement and all that shit that we were kind of taught, I that's ingrained, but I need to get some of that out of my fucking head and stop waiting for this fucking rainy day, to do shit I enjoy and fucking do it now, because who knows? So I'm a little bit still on that mode. I get annoyed at myself because I've been saying that to myself for the last, probably since I was about 47. I was very big like, I need to make some changes. Work cannot come first all the time, and I have to start fucking doing things I want to do and spending money, not regardless of like, my future, but can't take it with you, right?
No. Well, you're back in the sunny UK in a few weeks, aren't you?
Yeah. So I've got a trip planned. I'm going to do London for a few days. I booked a trip to Santorini for my birthday, so I had a few options of places I wanted to go. But yeah, I've dropped a small fortune on a hotel because I'm just like, I had this plan of what I want to wake up to on my 50th. So hopefully that's going to live up to expectations because yeah, I'm nearly broke with the amount of money I've spent on this trip. But so hopefully I wake up, looking at a beautiful fucking sunrise and be like, hey, to me, that will encompass a little bit of what I've achieved in the last 10 years will be, to a certain degree, being able to have afforded that hotel to just wake up with that view. That's what that signifies to me. It's not about showing off that I have X amount of money or any of that shit. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just more of this last 10 years of hard work has allowed me to wake up in a hotel I would never have fucking dreamed of ever in my life being able to afford. And even then, it's not the most expensive hotel in the world. Like there's more expensive hotels.
So is there an Instagram photo in it for you, mate, or what?
Yeah, of course there is. There will be. I mean, if I don't show it off on Instagram, it didn't happen, right?
It didn't happen, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any profound stuff this time round. I usually do a lot of thinking around my birthday, and this one's a weird one. I honestly don't know. I don't know what's next.
Sometimes these things come to you at the right time, don't they? It doesn't always have to be planned out. It doesn't always have to be, because I'm 50, I'm now setting my next goals, my next targets, whatever. Sometimes we've just got to be present with where we're at and just go with the flow and just see what happens,
Yeah, that's it. I think that's going to be it this year. Like the day will, no matter what, the day will come and go, and the day after I'll be a new fucking number. That's it. That's all that changes. It doesn't necessarily change anything else. You don't become. Hopefully, I don't become fucking older overnight. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to the age thing, I had the delights of sparring with my son last weekend for the first time ever. Yeah, and that wasn't fucking pleasant, getting the shit kicked out of me by a 15-year-old. I mean, obviously he hasn't got the power that I've got and the bodily strength, so I could sort of old man him around and throw him about a bit, and I definitely cheated. I definitely used a few old man techniques to cheat and whatnot. But it's funny when you teach them, isn't it? Because you teach them to be smart and think on their feet and all that kind of stuff. And what he very, very quickly realised after a couple of rounds is he had a lot better cardio than me, obviously. Yeah. So that if he just pushed the tempo and got past, with rounds 3 into 4, 5, 6, and 7, that my cardio wasn't going to hold up anywhere near as good as his did. And, it was a humbling experience. Let's put it
I was just going to use that word, right? I think for all of us, getting a little older, especially, and I think it's good. Look, it's good to, continue to be around younger people, for that very reason sometimes. But it is humbling, that there's times and it's not, for me, sometimes it's not even just gas tank, it's will. And I never thought I'd say that. I've always been a competitive, almost too competitive for my own good, never fucking give up, just keep fucking going. But back in the day, I know my gas tank was an attribute. It helped me loads because I could be getting battered for I don't know how many minutes, but my gas tank would hold up. And when the other guy started to get tired, I could even things out and finished around with people that were way more skilled with me, but a little bit more even. And I don't have that anymore. And you realize when you don't have that part anymore, and there's someone with maybe less skill than you, but more gas tank, more energy, making life hard work for you. And there's times, especially in jiu-jitsu, I'll be lying there and I'm like, fuck. Like literally lying there being like, I don't need this shit anymore.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah.
And I say I love it and enjoy it. But again, this is part of the next page. It's like, I don't know how much I love it anymore. Because I can't do it the way I used to like.
Yeah, the way you want to, yeah.
And that's what frustrates me. It's like, and it's a bit of an ego thing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, everyone's got a different reason for things.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pride thing as well there. There's nothing wrong with that.
On the map that everyone's going easy with, or having to say, I've got this injured, this hurt. Like, do I need to be on there? I don't know. So that I've got a lot of thinking to do there, because I'm kind of like, look, sometimes I think we stick with things out of habit and we just keep doing things. And I have a lot of friends in their 50s still doing jiu-jitsu, but they're fucked. They're so broken. They're so hurt. But this, and maybe they do love it more than I do, but the stubbornness to persist for whatever reason I don't know if I have that. I don't know. I have not given it up yet, but it's, I do feel there's a bit of it that's around the corner because I'm kind of like, do I really need that?
Yeah.
But then when I don't go and I don't do it enough, I kind of miss it. But then when I go and I hurt myself, I don't miss it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a tough one, but yeah, you're
is.
getting older and that whole humbling experience of, and I think that's across the board, right? That what you're describing there is not just in, the combat world and, the kids coming up and fucking battering the old man now, because you've got plenty of tricks, there's things you can do, but at the same time, you've got to really accept I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's across the board. The hard thing, I think, with getting older is we focus more on what we're losing than what we're gaining, right? We focus more, we're losing our athleticism, we're losing our fitness, we're losing our looks, right?
Speak for yourself, mate. Speak for yourself,
I look at myself in the mirror and I'm still like, yeah, I'm all right. But I've got no idea what a 25, 30-year-old looks at when they see me now. I still see this younger guy doing okay. But I'm now like, no, this person's looking at me like I'm the same age as that. I'm older.
Old man, yeah.
I'll be looking granddad soon if I'm not careful, right? And that age of, like, who knows? Hopefully Liam doesn't get started young, but, by the time you're 50, you could be.
Don't. Joe, I had this thought the other day. I thought he's 15, and I thought all of a sudden, shit, we might, get a girlfriend or a partner soon or whatever.
You never know.
I was like, shit, what if he had a kid?
Yeah.
That would make me a granddad. Yeah. I can't be a granddad. I'm not a granddad. I'm not a fucking granddad. There's no chance, and literally, mate, that's weird because obviously we haven't talked about that beforehand, have we? And we've not, like you say, we've not spoke for a few weeks. And I literally had that thought about less than 48 hours ago. I thought, shit, I'm going to have to lay some rules down with him here because I can't be a granddad, apart from the fact that it was a real light bulb moment for me because thinking about him and being a bit selfish and all that, I was like, I hope he doesn't have kids too young because he needs to experience his life and all that kind of stuff. But then I thought, shit, hang on, if he has kids young, that makes me a granddad.
Yeah, what if he does? Yeah. You never know, right?
No.
And, it's not everyone, each their own. It depends what his teenage years and early 20s end up looking like. But it's easy done. We all know enough people, that had kids young, right, for whatever circumstance. So yeah, it's kind of there. But that's, that's I think, unfortunately, our first thought process is everything that we're losing, and then moving into what we're gaining is not as exciting. I think that's the problem, right? Trying to accept that the things that are good in our life now are, I don't know any other way to term it. They're just not as exciting as all the things we did in our youth. Everything was exciting, even if it was stressful, dangerous, illegal, whatever. Right? There was a level of excitement to it.
It's fast living, isn't it? When you're younger, it's fast living. Everything's fast. It's fast relationships, fast cars, fast jobs, fast money. Fast party and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. I mean, when Liam said to me the other day that he noticed straight away that all my kicks were coming off my left leg because I couldn't lift my right leg properly. I've been doing fucking single leg squats on my right leg in the gym all week since I'm lopsided now. I've got one arse cheek that hurts, and you know what I mean. And I get it, but that said, mate, life is a gift, isn't it? And we don't want to be too morbid here today.
No,
because life is a gift as well.
And I think that's a good point. I think I've definitely got into the habit of taking too many things for granted. And I don't, and I shouldn't, because it's fucking if I go back to my upbringing and where I come from, and I was joking about this with Danny, because Danny's going to come up with me on this trip. First time she's been to the UK, and I've tried to explain Blackpool a million times, and she doesn't quite get it.
So you're taking Danny to Blackpool?
Yeah. So I'm going to take
my God.
and she's gonna be like fucking horrified. Now, bear in mind, she went to university in Nottingham, so she's got a bit of a feel.
So she has been to the UK before.
She lived in the UK for 3 years for uni.
Right. Okay.
Nottingham's a bit of a fucking dump, to be fair, as well. Not completely, but I'm like, you've seen nothing like Blackpool, and unfortunately, Blackpool's got even worse than even when I grew up there as a kid. Like you go now, and it's terrible. So yeah, I'll take her and like show around what I grew up in.
So we mentioned humbling before. So you're going to go London, you're going to go Santorini, you're going to stay in these all nice places, and then you're going to humble your wife by taking her to Blackpool. Yeah,
basically. Well, I mean, look, in ties, I've got to go and visit my mum. You know, and she's still there, obviously. So I'll tie in with, we'll go visit my mum, and then I'll show around Blackpool a little bit. As far as when I say show around, it'll be like a quick 20-minute fucking drive of like, here's where, well, I can't even be like, here's where I went to school, because school got fucking burnt down, and really it's nothing like what I went to, but at least the thing's still there at the end of the street where I grew up. So
you've got to take her to Coral Island Arcade, mate, and Blackpool Tower and all that.
Yeah. I tried to explain that it's like, you know, it's not like the Vegas of England, but it's like the Vegas of England. Except you can't gamble the same way. But yeah, it's fucking rough. But, you know, so when I think about all that stuff, and like you said, like putting a big positive spin on everything, it's like, right, okay. First of all, I'm fucking very grateful to actually still be alive. And somewhat fucking healthy. As far as I know, although I've just got a load of fucking doing the whole 50s medicals, hence
having your bloods done and all that.
Yeah, I've had everything done. So.
Prostate examined a lot.
Let's talk about that. That's something I want to discuss. Like, you've got to have it. I've been getting pestered by the doctor to have that for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I could go. You know me, I could go worse here, but I remember that even there is a level to even this podcast that I won't cross the line. I could talk.
We all know what it involves, and the bottom line is, right, it's the only way still apparently to fucking check it out. So yeah, I've got to get that. I've got a few things I've got to get done after this holiday.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the usual fucking shit of getting a little older. Things are not quite as normal as they should be, but yeah, on the, like I say, positive side, your life. I don't really know if someone saying how could it be better. I don't really know how it could be much better, other than just having more free time and being able to actually enjoy stuff a little bit more. And you know, outside of running the business and work, I guess is the next evolution of how can I create more time for myself. I think is the only thing I want to work on next. I don't want to create more of a fucking empire. I don't want to be chasing shit anymore. I've spent my whole fucking life chasing stuff. If the only thing I want to chase now is time.
Yeah.
Being more productive with my time, using time a bit wiser to enjoy, I guess, things a little bit more. That would be it. But other than that, I really can't fucking complain. If I look at what I wake up to every day, you know, looking out the door now, it's fucking roasting at the moment. It's weather's beautiful, you know. So yeah, things are definitely not. It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you've nailed it there, and that's very much where, you know, I'm at. And I'm obviously a few years younger than you, not too many years younger, but just a few. And I'm already in that place. It's all about time, quality of life, you know, experiences, having time to do the things that I want to do with the people that I want to do them with. You know, big material things are just stuff to me.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter any of that to me. It's just stuff. What matters to me is having time, getting up every morning, being excited, going where I want to go, do the things I want to do.
I think that's an important lesson as well, right? Because like you said, you just hit the nail on the head with you're, 5 years younger than me?
Yeah. 4.5, I think, yeah.
And, you know, we put these big things on, like, certain numbers. It's just circumstance that, you know, has caused me to, I guess, do certain things in my life a little later than others. And so the whole conversation that comes around, you know, people getting their lives where they want it and changing their lives when they need to, is, you know, it's never really too late. you made changes in your life, let's say 10 years ago, that have got you a bit more here, maybe probably even 15 years ago, if I look at it, tying in with, Liam being born and you moving a little faster towards that for different reasons. I left things very late. I left things till 40 and then had to go on this 10-year fucking chase to get ahead, having been in some ways so far behind a lot of other people at 40 who, have done their fucking days of living, hand to mouth, and now have good jobs and married, kids, nice house. They're more settled by 40. I didn't have that at that age. You weren't completely there, but you set things up when you were younger. I always remember looking at the hustle of the houses you bought and the thing, like you were always setting shit up behind the scenes to at least, we've talked about hard times of the last few years, but to be where you are and where you've been, particularly the last 4 or 5 years, a little bit more chilled, a little bit more settled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about financially secure and stable, but definitely in a place where you're more stable, looking for a lot less excitement. Our last couple of years of meeting up in Manchester have been very sensible by our standards.
Bad that, innit? Bad times.
Drinks, go home, it's
restaurants and a glass of wine, mate. How did that happen?
No, but it's not a bad thing. It's good. I appreciate not waking up, fuck the next day. I remember, I can remember our last proper night out. I remember us both being stood there at about 4 or 5 in the morning, being like, "What the fuck?" I think we both hit that. This is not for us anymore. Almost at the same point, it was weird because I remember us talking about it about a week later. And I was like, I just remember being like, "This is not what it used to be." We built it up to be, and it was almost in that night, and this was over 2 years ago now. It was like, and we'd already slowed way down, but I was like, I don't really want this shit anymore. It doesn't do anything for me in the same way. So like the people doing things at certain ages and getting themselves to a point where a little bit more chilled is, it could be 45, it can be 40, it could be 50, it could be for 60 for some people. I know someone that it probably will be 64 that very well before they chill out and settle down. Who knows? And we're all similar ages, but we're all in very sort of slightly different parts of where we're trying to get to. So yeah, it's never too late to kind of change direction and get to wherever you want to get to.
It's funny you say that, actually, mate, because I wish I could screenshot now, but I've got a social media post going out next week, and it's picturing me with a black eye. And maybe that's the tagline for this podcast today. Maybe that's the title and the tagline, because the picture is of me. I think I've even got this top on it. I've got a black eye, and the caption says, "It's never too late." Now, I remember the day after when I got that black eye thinking it was fucking too late. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is,
you moved your head too late.
Absolutely that. Yeah, absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, of course, to kind of, maybe sort of bring things to a conclusion. I don't agree with having 80-year-old presidents. I think it's really sad. It's really sad to see. I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's dignified. I don't think it's fair. But then equally, life is about phases, and it is about going through these different phases of your life. And who says that you must, the second that clock strikes 50 next week or two, that then you've got to have your next 10 years figured out? I don't think you have. I think it will happen as it happens, and you'll figure it out as you get there. But then ultimately, if you have got something that, of course, to be a pro boxer, mate, it's too late. To be a pro boxer, it's too late.
Yeah.
Then. And I was actually listening to an audiobook, and that's where I got that tagline from. And the audiobook spoke to me, and it's weird that, because we've done this without too much sort of prep today, but it's weird because the tagline says it's never too late, as I say, and it is never too late. You can, if you want to chill, then great. But then equally, if you've got an ambition, then great. Or if you've got something else you want to do, it's never too late. While I've got air in my lungs and my arms and legs are still moving and my brain's still working, then it's not too late, as I say.
You can do anything. You just got to. I think for me, it's always about just adjusting the expectation. when you're older. Like you said, your expectation now of going kickboxing is not what it would have been 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not trying to fucking make money. You're not trying to fucking compete at a high level. You're not trying, it doesn't mean to say you can't go kickboxing.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't mean to say you can. I think it's the same for everything. I think you can make a change and get into whatever you want to get into. Now, obviously, your expectation has to be sensible. Like you said, if you wanted to all of a sudden, at 50 become a pro athlete, you're like, okay, well, that's unlikely. Like, take a look at what sports you can be a pro athlete at that age, like maybe golf. And if you haven't been playing golf for 20 years, I think that's not going to happen. So,
nope.
But doesn't mean to say you can't start playing golf. Doesn't mean to say you can't start enjoying whatever it is the fuck you want to enjoy. Just go with an expectation of what it means to do that thing at the age you're at. And then, put into context, not all 50-year-olds are the same. Not all 60-year-olds are the same. Some can be 60 and, dealing with all sorts of health issues, and your life's very, very different. Some can be healthy as fuck, and they're as energetic as a 30-year-old. You've really just got to be your own circumstance and run with that, I think.
Well, my dream, as you know, has been to get this black belt, but my dream has been to get this black belt with Liam at the same time. But the reality is, as we're now starting to get to the business end, our next belt, we've got a sash grading in about 3 months. So we're purple belts now. We've got purple and then a white sash. But then after that, we're getting into brown belt with a black sash, and then it's black belt. We're getting into it's become apparent already that the guys that I'm training with now, it's so much harder.
Yeah,
they're fit, they're fast, they're strong. The classes are harder, the drills are harder, everything. The recovery is longer, all that kind of stuff. And the reality is, and I did have a word with Liam the other day, because we've obviously spoken about it. We drive to kickboxing, drive back. And I said to him, son, the reality is, mate, I'm going to do everything I've got. I'm going to give it everything I've got to keep up with him, so that when he's ready to do his black belt, maybe 2-3 years, whatever that looks like, that I'm ready to do mine as well.
Yeah.
The reality is, though, it's probably going to take me a bit longer.
And the interesting thing, to wrap up will be like, you have this goal and this drive, and when you both hit your black belt, because this is where the age difference changes things, is what will be what will be very interesting is the motivation as to what's next with you and Liam. Like, where does Liam want to take fighting in general? Does he want to continue to go somewhere with it? For you, once you've hit black belt, that might be it. You might be like, all I ever wanted to was to achieve this. Yeah. If it is 2 or 3 years' time, like you said, you're going to be late 40s, and you might go, or you might want to do something else with it. But right now, the goal is get the black belt. But it'd be very interesting for you because I can only relate that to jiu-jitsu, and I think my chase with jiu-jitsu, as much as I say I love it and stuff, and I do it all the time, it was really in the end about getting the black belt, because I've been far less motivated about it at my age since I became a black belt. And it's a bit opposite to what most will tell you. Most black belts go get to black belt and it's like white again, starting again. Now it's a whole new journey. And for me, I don't know if I want a whole new journey with it. There's a lot of other things I fucking like doing, so I don't want my whole new journey now at my age to be the old guy on the mat for what? If my gym had jiu-jitsu and I was coaching jiu-jitsu, it's a very different thing. I'm going to be staying on there because I've got to stay ahead from a coaching point of view. When you're not coaching it, it's kind of like, which is why I spend a lot more time boxing, because I'm coaching boxing a lot. So there's more of a reason to stay in that world.
I understand. I understand completely.
You'll be interested to see where you end up, but you'll get there. Like you say, if it's a little bit behind Liam, we will see. But right now, you're on track. So cross that bridge when you come to it.
Well, mate,
you never know.
My martial arts is just like what you said earlier with business. I look back now and I think, why have I left it till 45, till 42, whatever? Because I was into it in my 20s and I was training in my 20s and all that. But one thing I know, and we'll end it here: we can't change the past, can we? We can only be in the moment, and we can only move forward. Simple as that.
Cool.
Bit of philosophy to finish there. There we go.
I that's why I went quiet. Like normally I have a bit of a bit of a comeback. But no, that was a good way to end. So,
all right, good.
Thanks everyone for listening. As always, we will get another one done next week, and then we might be away for a couple.
And then we're both on holidays. We're meeting up in the UK, aren't we?
Yeah,
You're going to the Greek islands. I'm going to the Canary Islands. But we're going to meet up and we're going to celebrate your birthday with not too many beers and a nice meal.
No, I don't know about the not too many beers. Let's not put a lid on it.
Well, it's your birthday. You're in charge. So, guys, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Jon.